Affordable housing obligations in New Jersey have been in and out of the courts for decades. Earlier this year, the state Supreme Court issued a unanimous decision. What are the implications of that decision, Governor Florio? And is the state all set now?
No, hardly. As you say, this has been for years and years and years in the courts. It's interesting to think about why it started. The Mount Laurel case is the definitive case on this. It started out as a racial discrimination case. The concern was that communities were zoning their laws so as to keep minorities out, low-income people out. After that initial court decision came down saying that was illegal to do it that way, they converted the case, to the chagrin of a number of people, into an affordable housing share case, saying it was not sufficient that you didn't discriminate. You had to affirmatively take your fair share of affordable housing. Discussing how to go about assuring what the appropriate share was has been the problem over the years. So we haven't been able to determine town by town by town how much affordable housing was required. That's been the dilemma.
So it's really been a struggle in New Jersey all these years as a result of some of these concerns that you've outlined?
Well, it's not only been a struggle, it's been something that's been virtually impossible to achieve. The initial setup was to create an agency, COA, the Affordable Housing Agency. That agency was supposed to determine what the appropriate formula was for determining what the share of each town was to take in affordable housing. They've not been able to do it effectively, and for the last 16 years, COA hasn't even worked well, to the point that the court ultimately determined COA was not working effectively, and the court said, we're taking away the responsibility of you to do the formula in order to assess what is affordable housing share required, and we're going to do it in the courts, site by site by site.
How difficult is that process, considering some communities' property values are a lot higher than they are in others? For example, Princeton.
Well, that's the dilemma. I mean, passing a law for the entire state when you have different communities with different values, different systems, different demographics has not been something that's been easy. As a matter of fact, it's been virtually impossible to do at this point. This last case that you made reference to in the Supreme Court said that when you get around to determining what is the affordable allocation that's required, we're not going to allow you to get away with not having done anything for the last 16 years. We're going to include in the imperative that you're required to meet the affordable housing that did not take place in these last 16 years.
While the Fair Share report puts that number at 200,000 affordable housing units, the League of Municipalities report puts it at 22,000. Isn't that a more realistic goal over the next decade?
Well, that reflects the scope of the difference of opinion that people have. That the site-specific number will flow from this 16-year gap. And this is designed to say that the 16 years when you did not follow the law, you're not going to be able to walk away from the responsibilities.
What kind of burdens does this put on towns in terms of roads and schools and open space?
Well, the implications are that it's going to be difficult to determine because each town has different resources, the property tax base, deterioration of their existing facilities, adequacy of the schools, as you point out. It comes down in some respects to urban areas wanting to have more affordable housing available to them. Many of the suburban areas don't want to, for a host of reasons, some of which are economic, some of which are candidly racial. So this is going to be a major issue that we're going to have to address because we haven't addressed it. I hasten to say that it's a very legitimate issue from a standpoint of not only social justice, but in terms of economics as well. Many businesses that I know of that were interested in coming to New Jersey weren't coming to New Jersey because of the inadequacy of housing available for their moderate income employees. So that's one of the decisions that people make when they say New Jersey is attractive or unattractive. The absence of affordable housing is a serious problem.
Governor, thank you for sharing your views on the affordable housing issue in New Jersey.
You're welcome.